Hello and welcome back. Once again, I'm Matt Cassidy, and thank you for joining me in part two of the Bad Bank presentation series, the back end, where we're discussing Node Express, Mongo database, and the logic that keeps everything running smoothly. Let's get to it. So first off, we've got our back end diagram. I named the directory server because it's a server directory, pretty straightforward and hard to confuse with anything else. The main part of the directory there is going to be filled with your Docker file, Heroku YAML, Procfile, the two package JSONs, package log JSON as well, and the git ignores, the dot and etc. etc. There's a couple more files in there. I don't recall exactly what got left finally, and obviously server.js is in there as well. And below, well, not below, but alongside those, there are I had a series of directories that I created there for the config controllers, middleware models, routes. There was a lot going on there. And as I say off to the side there's so many bubbles that I could just, there's too many bubbles. So I just made a more accurate version here, which is the literal, this is what ended up as the final product when everything was said and done. Because I do have, it's funny, I do have that server directory and then I have the client one, but they are not in the same project in Heroku. You'll see eventually soon. First off, we have register here. This is your register. It's basically login, but instead you check to see if there's already a user, and if not, save the new data and make sure to encrypt the passwords. It's pretty straightforward. That's the bcrypt JS hash that I ended up using, and I mean it looks exactly as it was sent over. Pretty straightforward. And over to, oh yeah, I wanted to sneak in here with the schema because how fascinating that piece is, the Mongoose communication over to Mongo. But the Mongoose schema, where I was trying to tack on the the balance and the withdraw and whatnot and deposit in like a separate. I got lost for about a week there with the object ID ref. It was it was an ordeal, but I decided to tack in the three biggest time sinks right here because it was such a time sink, the schema, and trying to get it to do what I thought it should do and not what it was designed to do. But overcomplicating simplicity is such a big time sink. Then not knowing that my data is unreadable, needs to be parsinted or JSON stringified. And then trying to think of a new name for a variable that's both straightforward and clear, while also being somewhat humorous, just somewhat. Doesn't have to be a roaring laughter or anything. So, login backend. We just look for the user. Is there a user of the supplied username? Aha, there is. Is the supplied password the same as in the database? And if yes, we give them the JSON web token and send it on back and back to the front end. And if no, then nope. That's basically it. JSON web tokens, might I say, are just so useful. That was like a big, I guess, just part. It was played a big part in getting this thing together. And then the withdraw and deposit, which I kind of just, they're the same thing. I mean, just a plus or a minus. So, but withdraw, they're more or less the same thing. So all the functions do more or less the same thing. Now that I think about it, access and retrieve the user data, use that data to CRUD, just do something with it, whether you're just displaying it or altering it or, any number of things, or four. Well, no, there's more than that, but any number. In this case, access the profile data, dot balance, and add to it or subtract from. So pretty straightforward. And the middleware. This was an interesting bit. This the way the middleware functions as a so using the aforementioned withdraw, deposit, and profile pages, middleware function is basically an authentication function, skipping stone. I think of it as It basically hits the authentication and just keeps moving. It splits up the bearer string and decodes the token using the secret key all on the fly, which I'm pretty sure I'm using the secret key thing correctly. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh yeah, the honorable mentions of this thing, which, God, Roku was such a challenge. But the great package JSON ordeal of 2024. So Docker is so fascinating, but it's the most interesting piece of technology. It's also the most frustrating and confusing. I've spent more time reading about Docker than any other piece of tech in the stack, and yet I understand it the least. Still, like, I don't know how I've read so much about it, and it's just like, there's still so much more, and or maybe not sometimes, because a lot of the Docker files are always like the same thing over and over and over again. So there's like there's a like you can play with it as much as you want. You can customize it as much as you want, or you can just keep it simple and bare bones, and that's that. It's fascinating. So Heroku, I'll tell you about Heroku in the next one, so I can point out everything that happened. But I did end up with 2 URLs on this, and I would make a new project with the proper format and everything, but I'm not taking that risk right now. Like, I know it's supposed to be. I did have a proper name at one point. That was many projects ago that I ended up, scrapping and just restarting. There was there was a chunk of time there where I just kept going through it, just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks type deal. So, and thus completes the back end. Next up, we've got the grand finale, a working functional website complete with login system made by yours truly. Hold on to your hats. It's gonna be a wild one. All right, I'll see you soon.